Hey everybody, what's up? It is Joel, aka The Daily Guru, and welcome to the back of a van in Queens, a place we've never filmed before, but there's a first time for everything. Today for Gabbing with the Guru, I have the leader of one of the most amazingly unique bands you will ever hear in your life. They blend together everything from dramatic opera styles to classical to avant, new age style. Everything you love about music is part of Emily Danger. I guarantee you're gonna dig their sound. So we're gonna have a little bit of a conversation here so you can get to know their style, and then you're gonna get to see them play live. What were your earliest influences and exposure to music?
My mom is a singer, and so my earliest influence was probably just hearing my mom's voice. She did a lot of musical theater when she was pregnant with me, so I'm sure I heard like that glorious operatic tone coming through to her belly. And she says that she would put Placido Domingo and James Taylor on headphones and hold it up to her stomach. So I guess those three would be my biggest influences.
And growing up, was it mostly that style, kind of the folky and the very classically trained styles?
Yeah, it was a lot of that, but then I got introduced to rock a little later, and that kind of took over. So
Your introduction to rock.
I think Radiohead was really big for me in high school, and then some older stuff like Led Zeppelin and Portishead when they came out. It was just like over for me then. Yeah.
When did you start making music on your own?
Probably at the age of 4, I would, my grandparents videotaped me a lot, and there's a lot of video footage of me like banging on the piano with a Muppets music book. And I would wail and like bang on the piano, and then I would turn the page, and then I'd wail and bang on the piano and then turn the page. So I started playing piano.
Improvisational jazz at a young age.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Very contemporary opera feel from the age of 4.
When did your formal training begin?
When I was 16, I started taking voice lessons once a week.
Okay.
And piano lessons at the age of 9, and flute lessons and handbells, choir.
Whatever they'd let you get.
And all of it, yeah.
I know that you are as professionally trained as they get. When you were doing that, was there kind of a conscious desire to have some career, a specific career out of that?
So I went to conservatory, and then my first year in it, I was just kind of feeling very melancholy about the whole thing, and like I hadn't made the right choice. So I think the second year of conservatory, I was like, I've made it halfway, I'm gonna stick it out, but I'm gonna pursue other paths. So I started doing cabarets and stuff in the city, and then eventually started writing.
How did the band come together?
The band came together through Ryan Nierhoff is our guitar player, and he started arranging my songs when I would play them at cabarets. And we would do like covers and like little tiny folk shows. He'd play guitar and I'd play piano. And then eventually people just started joining us. We knew we wanted a violin, so we found Cameron, and then he found Coyote, and it was just kind of a mudslide of really talented people. So
when you say that's what you wanted, was there a point when you were writing some music and you're like, this is what's necessary to bring this to you?
Yeah, I think my classical influences really, I wanted to have them there still. I wanted to have that kind of solid classical background just to have the complexity of arrangement. And I've always loved the violin. It's my favorite instrument, so I was like, that might work. Yeah.
When you're writing, is it lyrics first and then the music?
It usually comes together. Like a melody always accompanies the lyrics. And if it doesn't, like if I write lyrics on the subway, I usually get home and I'm like, those are the worst lyrics anyone's ever written. So I try to do them together. But then Ryan really comes up with a lot of amazing arranging, and then everyone writes their own parts.
Okay,
so it's collaborative.
So is there a lot of like just jamming time to see how does this fit?
There's not as much jamming time as it is very like silent, introspective thoughts, and then all of a sudden someone will come up with a hook usually, and we'll be like, keep that.
Right, that's the one.
Yeah. It's all very collaborative. Like no one really comes up with their own part on their own. So
one of the big things about the music that you create is there is a heavy sense of dramatic, and yet you always manage to balance it so it doesn't become cliche. Because so many bands fall into that problem. It's so overdone. Is there a conscious point where you're in the process and you're like, okay, that's where we need to leave it at?
Yeah, there's definitely been moments where it gets really big, and we're like, that's pretty stadium rock, and we're not exactly there yet. So we've had to pare down a lot of stuff. Mainly my vocals, actually. If it's too big, if it's too operatic sounding, we've had to kind of pare it back.
There's a very visual sense to a lot of the songs. Do you guys, are you conscious of that during the creative process?
I draw a lot of inspiration from art. My husband's a painter, and so we're constantly surrounded by art. And so I think it might be a subconscious thing. I do like writing lyrics that are that will paint an image for you, that aren't exceedingly big, but also aren't like to the point, you can still take your own meaning. But musically, I think we view it as like a soundscape. Like what kind of colors can you draw? Is it a warm tone? Is it a cool tone? So I guess we do, but really subconsciously.
Yeah. When you're in the writing process, are there certain points where you say to yourself, I hear this instrument here, but in another song you're like, it won't work right here?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think the violin is a really powerful example of that, where sometimes it can be too much. And you want something simple. You just want a guitar and a piano or a guitar and a drum. And so we've had to pare back certain instruments. And luckily, the four of us play numerous instruments. So like Cameron, who plays the violin, can switch to bass. And Coyote, who plays the bass, switches to guitar. He's a phenomenal guitar player. So it's nice to have the options to have everybody still in the song, to have that collaborative process, but maybe not playing their instrument that they originally set out to play.
Do you find that you're able to access certain emotional themes or lyrical themes in kind of quieter arrangements that you can't when, maybe a violin is present or maybe there's a larger guitar piece?
I think so. I have one song that's on the EP called Never Know, and it's just me and the piano. And that is always a moment in shows where people shut up, I think, whereas the louder stuff, people tend to be a little more raucous, tend to talk over. And so I think that there is something about the quiet nature of just a voice and another instrument that really does draw people in and makes them listen to the words.
If you had to sum up the music you create in one sentence for people who have never seen it, what would it be?
The most non-auto-tuned sound that you'll hear right now.